Okay. Well, welcome everyone. Thank you for being here. I'd like to introduce to you, or I'm introducing Pina De Rosa. She's a TEDx speaker, award-winning film producer, high-performance trainer. Pina De Rosa has been leading live workshops, teleclasses, and webinars for over 12 years now. She speaks 5 languages, English, French, Italian, Spanish, and German, and holds 4 passports. Pina has been nominated for the 2010, 2011, 2012, and 2013 Los Angeles Business Journal Women's Making a Difference Award. Her passion for communication, travel, and world culture has translated into her travels to over 40 countries. Besides keynote speaking for international women empowerment organizations, Pina has coached and trained thousands of people worldwide, from Los Angeles to London, from Sydney to Hong Kong, and from Auckland to Kilimanjaro, with always the same commitment and results, empowering each client to live their fullest potential, delivering fast and lasting release of those internal blocks, fears, self-doubt that get in the way of us taking action and experiencing quality of life. Now please help me welcome my friend Pina De Rosa. Thank you.
Good morning, good morning. All right, the committed ones are here. I love it. So the topic today, what do you think this week is?
The last week of September.
Last week of September. If you ask my dad, says it's my birthday week. Actually, on my dad's birthday, it's 100 days till the end of the year. This week is the 100-day countdown till the end of the year. So every year, I do a teleclass, and today you get it live, for really looking at how can we powerfully complete the year, like making it like a power, strong finish. Because what's the percentage of people do you think that keeps their New Year's resolution?
Very low.
Yeah. The percentage of people that don't keep their New Year's resolution is 92%. So why wait until January to start with something that you're not going to do anyway? Instead, just using these next 100 days to finish strong. And I've set it up in a way that's very simple. All you got to do is 2 things. We like simple things, right? Keeping it simple. And that way we can actually accomplish it. So 92% do not keep the New Year's resolution. So as far as finishing strong, that actually then allows us to, if more people come in, we'll just welcome them. That was Casper. If more people come in, then that allows us to also start strong. So what is it that we could apply this to? Well, there's goals, it's now September. There's goals we've already accomplished. As we go down the list of like, oh yeah, I wanted to do that marathon, and we might have done it in March. Or, there's things that are ongoing. There are goals that are just no longer relevant. It's like, what was I thinking? Why did I say I wanted to do that this year? And some that are financially, some that are more spiritually, some that are more family-oriented, different orientations. And then there's those goals that you're like, yeah, it's September, gotta get a handle on that one. Haven't done it yet. It'll be nice. Damn it. Like I speak French, he did say that. Sorry. He almost gave up on that dream, like you're kind of resigned silently about it, that particular goal, but then you're like, but if it did happen, that would be great. You each have one of those, right, for this year? Sure. Yeah. Now, there's an area that I invite you to pick, just one, instead of because we have so many different goals that we could be wanting to put into that category, and today I'll give you those very 2 simple steps. But this is for you whether you're like all gung-ho about goals, like me, you grew up in a visionary family, goals are dreams with a deadline, let's go for it. This is going to be for you if you're kind of like, I'm too overwhelmed, I got too much to do, sorry, I gotta go. or if you've been even resisting goals for some reason or another. There was a couple of years I resisted goals so much because I'd been accomplishing and put into the accomplishment box and just keep going, so on, that I didn't want to accomplish anymore. I was like, it's just too much. So what I ended up doing for a couple of years, I think it was 4 or 5 years, I chose one goal every year. That's it, just one. Now it was a big one, it was a scary one, it was an uncomfortable one, it was one that would put me out of my own familiar zone, but it was just one. So if you've been in the phase of, in the last few years, maybe just choosing one thing, like I'll give you an example. 1 year I ran the LA Marathon, and that was it. I'd never ran before, so it took something to get me there. 1 year I bought a house, since we're speaking here with realtors. So it was, I was 30. I'd never done anything like that. It was a big, big deal, and trying to find how it all works and the money and the investments and so on. 1 year I got a motorcycle license, like something scary that I never thought I could do, and it put me out of my comfort zone. I think I did it 4 years, because another year I went to live in Mexico for 5 months and learned Spanish. So like crazy fun stuff like that would totally put me out of my comfort zone. That would be the one goal a year. So if you're in that place of like, yeah, every year there's too many goals, one is fine, then this is also going to help you with that one goal, because you might have thought about it at the beginning of the year. Like maybe you wanted to see the Wall of China. Maybe you wanted to travel far, and you still haven't, excuse me, accomplished that. But if it could happen between now and the end of the year, that would be awesome. And maybe you're just in that place of just, I don't care if it happens. If it happens, great. You're kind of just neutral about it. So wherever you're at with goals, it doesn't matter. This will actually apply because it's just 2 very simple steps. The first step is really to choose the area and to choose that goal. That goal that's been sort of like a pebble in your shoe, like it's been bugging you back there. It could be financial, it could be family related. Maybe it has to do with food. Maybe it has to do with your faith. You've been wanting to meditate or go to church and so on. So there is, I call it the 8 F's. Let's see if I can remember, because each year there's one extra F. So the areas are finances, family, and I'll repeat it, friends, finances, family, friends, fitness, fun, as they're having back there. Fiesta, you could say it. Fulfillment.
Whoa, so many years.
I know, I tell you, there's 8.
8 F's.
Faith. So if you're more in the religious or spiritual realm. And the last one is food. Food. So these 8 F's, you could have probably 2, 3, 27 goals in each one of them, but we're actually just going to choose one area. What's the one area? And I've chosen mine, and I do, a worldwide client appreciation teleclass and friends appreciation teleclass, so people participate from all around the world. Just choosing one thing. It could be having to do with your health and fitness. What's the one thing that would make the market different? Like literally, if you did it for 100 days and you paid attention to it for 100 days, it would allow you to powerfully complete the year. What's that one area? It's the one that you're like, I don't know that I really want to, or like, I really want to, but I'm not sure, if it hasn't happened by now, could it happen? When I took this on for the first time, which was about 4 years ago that I did the first time, the 100-day countdown, and I chose a health and fitness. And what ended up happening, not only because I ended up focusing on that, so therefore my fitness was transformed. I lost 20 pounds in those 3 months, which to me was like, whoa, okay, that's interesting. When you focus on something, what happens, right? We either pay with attention or we pay with pain. So when you pay with attention, you end up getting results. But I also ended up doubling my business. And I was the kind of person that was too busy to exercise. So by actually taking the time to do it for 100 days straight, just as a challenge to myself, see if I could win with myself, like an Olympian, you don't necessarily play against others, you play with your own level of excellence and how they each year and each game, they look to increase their own best, personal best. Then I ended up doubling my business in those 3 months, doubling compared to what I had done from January to September. And I was always too busy to exercise, so to actually take the time for myself ended up giving me the productivity, the focus, the clarity, and everything else trickled through into my finances as well. So that got me to think, so I'm not sharing this to impress you, like, hey, I lost 20 pounds and double my business. But it's more like, I'm in the trenches with you. And what happens if we focus on that one thing that we don't think we have the time for, and how the dominoes game happens in all these other areas? Because you've all heard it, how we do one thing is how we do everything, right? So that focus and that determination of every morning going to boot camp, and I'm not a morning person, certainly not a boot camp person. Even when it was raining, there was 9 days straight in December that it was raining and it was cold, and just doing it anyway, just to see if I could win the game with myself. And in a moment, I'll give you a little switch to accountability, because there's something about accountability that makes a difference. And sometimes we go for it and we reach it, and sometimes we go for it and we fall flat in our face, and then what happens then? So those 8 F's, look and see which is one that is jumping off the page for you, that it's like, yeah, pick me, pick me. And if you're not sure, it's the one that probably has the most pain connected with it. If there's a couple, just look at one that has the most pain connected with it. Now, if you chose that area, then look and see, there could be a daily habit. For me, for example, I told you I took on fitness at that one time, and the daily habit was just to drink 2 liters of water. Now, for someone who always forgets her water bottle, even drinking 2 liters of water was a challenge. So it doesn't need to be like War and Peace. Something small. One of my clients is a pilot down in Perth, Australia, an airplane pilot, and she says that even by switching the plane route by less than 1%, the plane will land in a different location. So sometimes that 1%, like it was for me to remember my water bottle and take on the 2 liters of water, made the biggest difference. And of course, getting up and going to the boot camp and all that. So what could be for you that 1%? If you have a flight that takes off from New York to London and you shift that route by 1%, you may end up, I don't know, Manchester, Dover, Brighton, somewhere other than London. So don't look for something huge and big, which is probably one of the reasons why it hasn't happened yet this year. But in that one little thing, what's that 1%, that one shift? One of my clients in New Zealand, she said that what she wanted to take on is give up blame. Blaming herself and blaming others. Why I'm bringing up that particular example is because for me, 2 liters of water is tangible. I can actually put that water bottle in a box and ship it to you. It's a tangible goal. But giving up blame, you may have a goal or something that you want to accomplish between now and the end of the year that is intangible. You cannot put a lid on it and ship it. So if you've got something like giving up blame or being a particular way, then how do you measure that for 100 days? Any thoughts, any ideas? Would you like a simple way to do that?
Yes.
Because some people are like, I just want to be more playful with my grandkids. That's their goal for the year. I've been so serious, I've been so focused on work, and I want to focus on my family and be playful with the grandkids. How do you measure being playful with the grandkids? Depending if I ask you on Thursday or Friday, you might have a different answer, right? And you might have been just as playful, but just depending on how you feel about it, you're like, yeah, did I? For 100 days? Like, if we talked on December 31st and I'll ask you, were you for 100 days more playful? Or were you more peaceful or more grounded or whatever the quality that you'd like? Depends how you feel that day. That's how your answer will be. So, for a goal that's intangible, a very, very simple way to measure it for 100 day, because we can't measure the magic, we gotta measure something, is you could come up with a very simple question. That could be your daily action. Because if you ask yourself that question on a daily basis, and it could be every night when you go to bed, or in the morning as you brush your teeth, it doesn't even need to cost you any extra time. Like you can include it as you're doing something else by asking yourself your daily question. I'll give you a couple of examples of a good daily question. It'll be like back to my pilot in Perth, Australia, who said the example earlier. She says, her job as a pilot is to keep bringing the plane back. It'll be off course most of the time, and as a pilot is to keep bringing it back, keep bringing it back, keep bringing it back. So for you, that daily question could function as you bringing your life back, bringing your attention back, being that pilot of your life. So for those 100 days when you want to land in that particular spot, that question is what helps you land in that particular spot. So a good daily question could be something like, how can I be even more, and then blank blank, and I'll repeat it because it's one of those template type questions. So you can insert anything you'd like, this year, next year. So how can I be even more, and then blank blank, in my life right now? So if your goal is with your family and to be playful, or if your goal is with your finances and to be focused, or if your goal is with your fitness and to be consistent, something that is not necessarily tangible, how can I be even more, and then put in that quality, blank blank, in my life right now. Now the reason I didn't say how can I be more, and I said even more, is because if you put how can I be more playful, it presupposes that you're not. How can I be more grounded? It presupposes that you're not really, and now you're like trying to fix something that wasn't there or broken. And that doesn't provide consistency. It doesn't feel, organic, versus how can I be even more? It's like the pilot light is there. You're just igniting it. How can you give some air to it so that the flame can... So in any situation, you could be having a conversation with one of your teenage children saying, how could you be even more? How can I be even more with you? Versus how can you be more? Because then there is a defensiveness. It takes away all of that negative or defensiveness around it. Well, how can I be even more open? Presupposes we're already open. We just need to expand. Versus how can I be open? It means, what do you mean? Just create that, even within ourselves, right? We've got that internal battle that goes on sometimes. So pick an area. I'll let you play with a few seconds. It's true. Maybe circle it. And then choose that goal that you would like. If it's a tangible one, like 2 liters of water a day, fantastic. That's you, and the next 100 days you've got that tangible goal. If it's an intangible one, then what you'll want to measure is asking yourself that daily question. Well, daily. Now, if you're wondering, how do I remember to ask myself the daily question because I'm so busy, I gotta go, a very simple way would be every time you brush your teeth. Because it's a habit that you have, whether it's in the morning or in the evening that you choose to ask your question. It doesn't cost you extra time, it doesn't cost you any extra resources, energy. Now, another possible daily question could be, is this moving me closer or further away from my ideal life? Is this moving me closer or further away from my ideal life? Now, whether you're about to order a salad or whether you're about to make 10 prospect phone calls or not, that question again will be like, just bring you back, the instrumentation that brings the flight back. Because it's not about the absence of turbulence in these next 100 days or in life. It's how we handle that turbulence. 10% what happens, 90% how we respond to it. You and I are working on that 90% so that life can keep bringing that 10. Just bring it. Because I got all kinds of stuff that I can handle. Sometimes it's headwind, tailwinds, below, above, but we'll just navigate it. So where does that question apply? Where do you see that? In what areas? Is this moving me closer or further away from?
It could be applied to any of the areas.
Mm-hmm. And can you see how internally then the answer comes up in that moment? Mm-hmm. Even if you don't feel like it, you're like, yeah, the answer just is there.
Maybe you want to be the one to accept it. You just know.
It's just there. Yeah, exactly. And the difference is going to be between listening to it and hearing it. We can hear it and not listen to it. Then we get ourselves in trouble down the way. Because
So
we
you do every time.
Yeah, exactly. Or we
Oh,
can hear it and
moving
listen.
closer.
Yeah, is this moving me closer or further away from, and it doesn't need to be my ideal life, it could be my ideal health or my ideal family. And I don't mean it as a place to get to, because then we get into perfectionism, and that's not so much fun, because then we end up beating ourselves up if we might have gotten closer on Tuesday, but now it's Wednesday and we failed or whatever. So that it's not really a place to get to, it's a place to come from. The difference is that that place to get to is that perfectionism, and it's elusive, it's exhausting. We never get there. We may get there on Tuesday, but now it's Wednesday, kind of thing. Versus coming from a place of excellence. That question allows you to remain on that path. And ultimately, where we're coming from is where we're going anyways, right? So if instead of having it be a place to get to, but a place to come from, can you see how that impacts your day, your actions, your results? We all heard it. We either have reasons or we have results. This is about your results. The reason we ask, the why questions oftentimes, why does this happen? Like we try to get reasons, is because then we'll think we have an action that's connected to overcoming it. But even when we ask why or how, which is what I call the two ego questions, it may stop the spinning that we're in that moment, but it doesn't give us momentum. It stops the why or how to, but instead, it doesn't give us that momentum to where we want to go. So when you find yourself why or how, which only leads you to having reasons, since you want results, forget those why and how questions, and let it be a red flag for you to ask a different question. And that question is, what next? What do I need to do next? Sometimes we all had vision boards or thoughts of vision boards and all that stuff, and then we look at it on a rainy day and we're like, I'm not even close to that thing. Forget it. What was I thinking? And that's when a vision is really big. We may have really big obstacles, and we've done a session on, bigger vision, bigger obstacles kind of thing. But the path, especially on those rainy days when we don't feel like it, to still maintaining that vision, but having a what next. If you do a vision board, I would recommend just putting a Post-it in the middle and writing whatever that next action is. Because if you've got that big villa, or if you've got that big, whatever big vision is, and on a rainy day it doesn't feel like it, you may feel overwhelmed or resigned, and like it's September, it hasn't happened until now, so it's not going to happen till the end of the year. Versus between now and the next 100 days, between now and the end of the year, could be just a little Post-it on that vision board with the what next. Well, the next thing I need to do is, for me, it was the 2 liters of water and the boot camp every day. For you, it could be, something that's small, 1 degree, percentage, measurable, that will make the biggest difference. So you don't throw out the whole thing just because, one day you look at it and it just seems like the internal and the external lives are just so not even close. It's like 2 different sides of the river and there's no bridge. It's like, how do I get there? Anyone, hot air balloon, something, anything. So to then have the second tool I told you would make it really simple, so choosing that one area and one daily action. Then the second step is something that I call the SKS factor. And SKS is just 3 letters. It's a way to keep it simple, whether it's a measurable goal or an intangible goal. I should say more of tangible goal or intangible goals. It can still be measured through the SKS. And SKS stands for stop, keep, and start. Stop, keep, and start. Very simple. So what's one thing that you could stop doing in that area? So you've just picked your F, whichever that one was for you. What's one thing that you could stop doing for 100 days? Like my client in New Zealand who gave up blame. Okay? And how she did that is simply by asking herself a daily question each day. You know, because how do you measure giving up blame? But if you measure, did I ask myself that daily question every day? It brings your blame back, brings your blame back, brings your blame back. So what's that one thing that you could stop in that area that would make a marked difference to you accomplishing that by the end of the year? And this is really about you finishing the year strong, powerful. And then what's one thing that you could keep doing in that area? So if it is in the area of fitness, maybe, like I did at that time, I stopped eating sugar and cheese. Now, I grew up in Switzerland. I think I was made of sugar and cheese. I love chocolate. So to me, that was a big deal. You know, like, oh, and I love it. It just doesn't make me feel good afterwards. You know, my body doesn't, it feels cloudy. It doesn't feel the clarity of it. But it's so yummy, and the fondues and the Swiss chocolates. Oh. Just for 100 days. You know, like, okay, let me see. How bad can it be? Like, really, like, it's a challenge with myself. So something that you could stop doing that's simple, that's a stretch for you. It doesn't need to be a stress. Like, oh my gosh, but definitely a stretch for 100 days. Holidays came up. Oh my gosh. No sugar, no cheese. Oh my goodness. Halloween. Oh boy. Giving away all the trick-or-treats. And then number 2, what's one thing that you could keep doing in that area? That same area, just a very simple SKS. For me, it was keep yoga, because it was working for me in the area of fitness. You know, maintaining that level of stretching. And then what I started was that boot camp, the running, the just exercising every day for 100 days straight. It doesn't mean I was not taking care of my body, because, you know, sometimes you need the rest and whatnot, but I was pacing it. You know, I hired a trainer for 3 months and really accomplished those results in a way that was a challenge for me, a stretch, but not a stress. So if it's the area of finances, family, friends, food, fun, faith, fulfillment, whichever you've picked, take a moment right now to write one thing you can stop. You can pick it up again January 1st. You don't have to stop it forever. You know, I've had clients who give up wine.
So hard.
So it's not your thing then. But if you really
I
want
had
to.
given up wine for,
For
a period of time.
Yeah.
For Lent.
Yeah.
For Lent, there you
Yeah.
go, that's 40 days, yeah. So it could be giving up complaining, it could be giving up blame, it could be, like for me, one of the things that I was talking with, because a couple of days ago when it was the 100-day countdown on the 24th, I had a call with one of my clients, she's in Germany, and she said, you know, like for her, her physical therapist has given her exercises to do every day. And you know how they give us exercise to do every day, and we end up doing it maybe 3 days a week, 5 days a week. She wasn't doing it every day. So she took on for 100 days to do it every day because her shoulders have been hurting. And what she gave up is she gave up slouching. Now, it doesn't mean that she stops slouching because we'll slouch. But the giving up means that every time she catches herself, she brings it back. Because that's the thing that she needs to activate back here that will help with her shoulder problem. So giving up and stopping, fine distinction there. You catch yourself, you bring yourself back. Ultimately, you do it enough times that your body has muscle memory, and then you end up just doing it. So giving up slouching doesn't mean stopping slouching, it just means catching yourself and bringing yourself back. So look and see what's one thing that you could stop doing, keep doing, and then one thing that you take on and start doing. And just write that down for yourself. Very, very simple. While you do that, I'm going to look for one of my favorite quotes here and read it to you as a way to inspire you if you haven't been inspired enough already. And the goal you want to pick, the area that you're picking right now, is really the one that will make the biggest difference between now and the end of the year. Like if you did that for 100 days, not only that personal victory, but the biggest difference in how your year, like when I took on my health, the biggest difference, surprisingly to me, in how the rest of the year lined up and finished really powerfully and strong. I thought the biggest difference was going to be the 20 pounds, but everything else that ended up. And then I started the year strong because of that. So the next 3 months, I lost another 20 pounds because I was on a roll. It wasn't a New Year's resolution that you start and then 92% of the people don't complete. It was just like, wow, there's a momentum. There is something that's going. You see that you overcome your own inner resignation. It maybe sometimes it's a silent resignation, just because it hasn't happened in a while. So is it really going to, is it possible? And other people might not. You just start the year strong. So while you find your SKS, here's a quote I want to read you. And you've heard it before, I'm sure. So hear it in this context of a 100-day countdown of really powerfully completing the year. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Well, actually, who are you not to be? Your playing small does not serve the world. I would say more your family, more the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give others permission to do the same. And as we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others.
Wow.
Does that shift your goal a little bit?
Yeah.
Right? That's from the 1994 inaugural speech of Nelson Mandela. It's from Marianne Williamson. You can just Google our deepest fear and it'll come up. It was my Christmas card a few years ago, and I've kept it. This is dated July 22nd, 2009. I've kept it in my phone ever since. That's all I wrote on that Christmas card. And X's and O's, because it's, even with myself when I play this, I started playing this game again this week. There's always something that we can optimize, that we can take to the next level. And the coach that I've hired, because as a coach, it's great to always get yourself to look and see, take inventory, what's the next area? Ooh, that one. Okay. So I invested in a coach, and we just started a couple weeks ago in a different area, something that it's new for me. And even as I was writing down my goal, I was like, I wonder. So our own mind likes to stay familiar. It's that ego that knows it's going to die, so it's going to hang on for dear life. Because something new is going to arise, right? But, so you may not hire a coach, but I want to give you something with regards to accountability. Because I hired a coach for accountability. I also have an accountability buddy. And I'll tell you how it works with the accountability buddy. Because that's you and your daughter, or you and your business partner. It doesn't matter. You could choose whoever wants to play this 100-day countdown. And if they weren't here today, let me know if you want this content. I'll send you the link because I have it as an audio that I do every year, so they could just listen on the phone. But the way I work with accountability with my buddy is nicely tricky. and I trick my buddy, and my buddy tricks me because we tell each other it's ethical, right? So we know ahead of time. But we'll trick you into winning. So it's not like tricking you unethical. It's tricking you to getting you to the next level. The way we do with accountability is we choose that area. We choose the SKS. You know, this is the area, this is the daily habit, this is the thing I'm giving up, right? Pretty simple. And we might go for it, kind of like New Year's resolution for a while, right? And then there's the day that we're like, oh, I didn't drink my 2 liters of water. No, if it wasn't for my accountability buddy, I would normally say, oh, I'll drink it first thing in the morning. I'm already in bed. But if it's because of her, then this is how it works. And this is just because we've created it this way, not because it's a rule or anything. We count points. Whatever she does, her SKS and mine is worth 1 point. So she might be flossing daily because she always wants to floss daily and never does, so she takes it on for 100 days. I'm drinking my 2 liters of water. Remember, 1% makes the biggest difference. So if I don't drink my 2 liters of water, then she can't floss the next day.
That's good.
If she doesn't floss, I can't drink my water the next day. It's connected accountability. So it's not that if I drink my liter of water, woohoo, I won for the day. I did, but she wins for the day. And when she flosses, that's great because she wins. But I actually won that point for the day. Why? Because we will do anything for the people in our lives, including taking care of ourselves, like drinking water and flossing. Stuff that if it had been for me, oh, I'm so tired, I'm already in bed. I'll floss first thing in the morning, or I'll drink my water first thing in the morning, right? We've all done that. So sometimes for ourselves, we give up on that 1%, which we know is the thing that will make the biggest difference, but we'll do anything for our buddies. We certainly don't want our buddy to lose. So if you really want yourself to see yourself win in this 100-day countdown, pick a buddy. They'll choose whatever their thing is. You'll choose your thing. And then your accountability is a connected accountability. It's not just, I did my thing, I win, woohoo, I didn't do my thing, sorry, I'll do it tomorrow. That's the normal way that accountability works, and that's fine, it gets you here. But this is about the next level. Can you see that? So it's not a punishment of like, sorry, you can't drink your water, sorry, you can't floss. It's more really looking at how we will, because we will do anything for the people that we love, respect, and admire. It's like the salmon is swimming in that direction, might as well swim in that direction, right? So use accountability in that direction. It's already working anyway. So I would actually get out of bed, get the bottle of water, and finish to get to the 2 liters. And she would text us like, do you know what time I remember I hadn't flossed? And she'd get out of bed and floss. You know, now, you know, her dentist is happy, everybody's happy, you know, there's a sense of, it's just as simple as flossing, it's a silly example, but how you do one thing is how you do everything. You know, if she's kind of like, yeah, I'll do it tomorrow on that, where else is she applying it? By the end of the 100 days, she's like, call me Queen of Flossing. I'm like, call you Queen of Flossing, absolutely. The next year, she wrote a book. In those 100 days, she wrote and published a book. She sent it to me by Christmas. I had it in my hand. Like, whoa! You know, because it's, if you apply it to one thing, then, okay, then I'll write whatever X number of words every day. It's no different than flossing. It's just not giving it up, taking it on, even if it means 11 a.m. or 11 p.m. And I physically had the book in my hand. It's like, whoa! That to her was like, just as big as flossing. It's just no different. So what could be yours? You know, think about, make a list of 2 or 3 possible buddies that could be your accountability buddies. And these are like Amazons, warriors, you know, these are not like, yeah, sure, we'll play with you. No, these are people that want you to win. And you'll have that connected accountability with them. What do you see in this? Because I see your wheels are spinning and you're smiling and you're like, I'm thinking of my victim, my accountability buddy. Who could it be? What do you see in this? How does that help you? Where does it apply? Any insights that you're getting?
It's good.
How does that help?
It does. It's a accountability with responsibility.
Right? I love that. Accountability with responsibility, yeah. Because we've all done it, right? Where we're like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. I'm already in bed. Or whatever the thing is. Like, I'll do it first thing in the morning. But then where else? So it's tricking, and like I said, I would trick you, but it's ethical because I'm telling you, it's tricking ourselves and each other into doing the way we operate already as human beings anyway, which will then do anything for the people that we love and respect and admire, including not give up on ourselves.
It's good.
Yeah,
I call it a win-win.
makes sense.
Right?
Yeah.
Easy. Cool. Now, it's not that we would then call each other every day as like, did you do your SKS? How did it go? Da da da. Because for 100 days, especially, she was on the East Coast and on the West Coast and different times, and this. It's like you want to keep it simple, because otherwise, you know, a few days into it or weeks into it, you'll be like,
These 100
yeah,
days gonna be
it's
always.
like a stress. So you want it to be a stretch, but not a stress. So keep it simple and workable. Just like these 2 steps. Choose the area, something that you're taking on, something you're giving up. Very simple. So what we would do is choose one word. So between now and the end of the year, if you did that one thing for 100 days, how would you feel at the end of the year? Would you feel powerful? Would you feel accomplished? Would you feel grounded? Would you feel light? Would you feel, how would it allow you to powerfully complete the year? On top of the world, on a roll, like whatever the word is for you. And then we would just simply text each other that one word. We'd tell each other what the word is. Okay, so it could be open, it could be accomplished, it could be blue giraffe. I don't care what the word is, it doesn't matter. But it doesn't end up being like an email or a text or something that you need to now get one more thing to do. I already have 100 things to do. I don't have one more thing. So you choose that one word. You tell each other, this is my SKS, this is the area that I'm doing, so we know. And by texting each other, by the end of the day, that one word, we would know that the other person had accomplished all that under that umbrella, that one word. We would normally choose a time to send it by, so no later than 7 a.m. or no later than 11 p.m. or whatever the thing is, so that we would have it either at the end of the night or the beginning of the day. Different people, different flows, so that I'd know if I didn't get that text, I'd lost for the day, and I needed to hold back on mine for the day. Raises the level, huh? Makes it fun though, right? Yeah, it's like exciting. And so what's yours? I'm curious. Do you have an idea what your SKS could be, or?
The area that I did was finances.
Finance is beautiful.
Yeah.
Watch out, world.
Yeah. So there's certain things that I know that I should be doing.
It's a should kind of thing. Okay.
And you know how it is. You walk away from it. One day you do it, the next day you don't.
Yeah.
And then, and I know that if I do it, constantly for 100 days, it will be a big difference.
Big difference.
Yeah.
So you've got your SKS?
Yeah.
Okay.
And when you think of who could be the person you can,
Uh-huh.
I thought of my daughter. She's 18.
Oh, brilliant.
She having this situation where, she started going to the gym, right? But sometimes she goes, she doesn't. I think that maybe we can tie it together.
Nice.
Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah.
You absolutely got it.
Yeah. So I think that was something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can either pass it on to her, or if you want me to send you the link, so she can listen to it, and then go, yeah, Dad, that sounds great. Or like, Dad, you're crazy, what the I don't know. But if she's up for it, like, it will feel like at some point, oh my gosh, this is crazy, because it's out of our comfort zone.
Right.
But it stretches us. The type of coaching that I like to do is stretching without stressing. You know, just moving us to the next level, but not like choking us.
Exactly.
Cool, that's
So,
awesome.
That's it, yeah.
Very good. And that could be your game, you know, your daily text. Done. Could be a really fun way to participate in that. Isela, what you got? What's the area for you?
I got fitness.
Aha.
I have problem with drinking my water.
Uh-huh. Especially if we have a big house, right? My house is like 2 bedrooms. And we always forget our bottle, and where is the bottle? And it's like, really? I mean, come on, like.
And sometimes I bring the bottle.
Oh yeah, and I bring it
don't
right
drink
back. Exactly, exactly. Okay, good.
But I do want to lose weight. I am exercising.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
water hydration is so important because obviously, you know, like the more we drink, the more we can release the toxins.
Yes.
Okay,
I
so
know that. but
yeah,
I
the
don't do
knowing,
it.
exactly, the knowing makes no difference.
Mm.
It's the implementation, right? So,
And I
okay.
did think about my son. I just had to pray deeply, see if he will do it with me.
Yeah. Or maybe Melody here in the office or someone else in the office. They'll do their thing, you'll do your thing. But with your son,
Yeah, I'm
It
gonna
would
try with my son because
support him as well.
whatever little thing that he can commit to will be
Right.
good for him.
yeah.
You know,
And if you did this for 100 days, how would you feel by the end of the year?
accomplished.
Accomplished.
Yes.
Yeah. Plus probably clear, healthy, focused, because water is such a gift in so many ways. The simplest things.
I try it in every single one of the F's here.
Yeah. And that could actually, that's usually then what I do is around December is I do something called a top 100, which is choosing among the 8 F's, what are our top 100 for the following year, and then how to focus and prioritize so that we get to accomplish at least 50 of those top 100. This is kind of how it really all started for me, because one of my clients said, oh my gosh, I was reviewing my goals and I've already accomplished this and this and this and that. And so I started looking at mine, and I had, by September, accomplished about 30% of my goals. And I
You
usually,
said you had 100? Wow, that's a lot.
it is a
When
lot.
you said one, I said, okay, I can deal with
Yeah, one, all right, let's do it. Let's do it. Even if it's one big one, we'll do it. Absolutely. The top 100 is an interesting distinction, because oftentimes, especially for women, it's like goals can be so disempowering. It's like we already have 100 things to do and think about. I don't need 100 goals. Come on. So we then end up having our top 5 or 10, which is get healthier, finances, be more this, less of that, but just like the surface stuff. It doesn't really get to the depth of what's possible in our growth. I call it like the Vegas buffet style. You know, like when you go to Vegas and there's like these buffets of everything, and then there's all these white plates, right? And you know that if you see these 20 white plates and they're on a spring-loaded thing at the bottom, you know that if you see these white plates, you'll take one up, they'll come up. You'll take one up, they'll come up. And you think that just because you see 10 or 20 plates that are white, that whatever, how many 100 plates underneath there are all going to be white. How do you know there's not a purple one there? How do you know there's not a gold one or a green one? So the top 100, the way that it works is just like that, where your top 10 or 20 goals are going to be just white plates. More of this, less of that, just all the same. Every year, pretty consistently. Now you may get yourself to the next level of that one, but if you just choose your top 10 or 20 goals for the year, white plates. Cool, nothing wrong with it. Not as exciting as a silver plate, you know, or bright blue plate. So what happens is we go past, and I do this with my clients on the phone at the beginning of each year, we go past the top 20, just write it down. It takes about 45 minutes, so it's just pushing past the top 10 or 20, and write down 21, 22. So the goals that inspire you, the goals that scare you, the goals that like, oh my gosh, if I write it on that piece of paper, she's gonna think I'm really gonna do it, so I'm even scared to write it, because what if I don't? The goals that scare the socks off of you, the goals that you maybe wanted when you were 10 and you haven't quite yet, and the ones that you don't really think could be possible in this lifetime. So the ones that are juicy, the ones that are unpredictable, the ones that are just out there. And when we get to like 65, now you still got 35 to write. And so you start going beyond yourself, and you get to 100 and you look at them, and then that's why the 8 F's are there, because they're in all different areas. Some are in fitness, some are in finances, and some might be in foods and friends. Like maybe you want to learn a particular recipe or this or that. So you get to the 100, and then what we do is we look at the ones that are jumping off the page and choose the top 20 for the year. And so highlight those. But in the top 20, number 67 might be in there. So you may have 1, 2, and 3, because usually they're somewhat to the forefront of our mind. But in the top 100, to choose the juiciest one, it's not going to be the top 20 of the top 20. There's going to be probably number 72 or number 98. Those are the ones that you're like, oh, why didn't it happen? That would be cool. So that's what I mean by top 100, and it's a distinction that we refresh at the beginning of the year. And then what we do is we choose 2 every month. So you can still have plenty of time off, because you got, 12 months, 24 goals. So we choose the top 20. But those are the ones that will be the most meaningful, the juiciest, not the predictable one. You don't need a coach for that. You're better this year than you were last year. It's just part of humanity. You grow, you learn, you evolve, you get better, and you have that, self-inspiration, motivation, whatever it is that allows you to keep expanding. This one gets you beyond the predictable. So it's not about necessarily 100 more things to do. It could be, keeping consistent with my friends from college or my family members, one supporter. Things that are on the back of your mind, but you realize you don't really, by the end of the year, it hasn't really happened. And one year I had picked spending more time with Tammy, and Tammy was a new friend at the time. By the end of it, and I had chosen at least, spending at least once a month with her, like one-on-one time, getting to know her, because I felt like there was something really cool about, you meet a new person and life gets busy, and 3 months later you still haven't met, and you're like, oh my gosh, okay, after the holidays, or like how we go. And actually what ended up happening is her and I ended up working on a really cool project together, and it ended up, it was a nonprofit that ended up empowering teenage girls with a teenage TV film star, and empowering girls to create their own goals. And we ended up doing like a girl camp for about 20 to 30 girls, all one day, with the teen TV star and my friend Tammy and myself. Now, had I not spent time with Tammy, that may have happened, may have not happened, but then it ends up being an impact on 20 or 30 other young girls, and doing a goal setting and visioning and all that fun stuff at such young age. Like, imagine your girl going to one of those with a bunch of other teenage girls and loving it. The impact of that as a result of just having pushed those white dishes. Even just to spend time with Tammy. Like the ripple effect of something as simple as that 1% that shifts where the plane lands. And that was way bigger than I could have even imagined. Last year I did a TED Talk. It was not even in my top 100. For me to do a TED Talk was like so far out there. And for those of you who are familiar with TED, it's the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Really powerful. Yeah, why not? That's a new one. Inspiring and empowering speakers. And for those of you who are not familiar, it's TED, technology, I think education design.
What did you do?
A TED talk.
Okay, so
On their channel. To me, that was, it's an 18-minute talk. It goes around the world. Mine so far has been seen almost 200,000 times. So, it impacts. The one that I did was on women's empowerment, just because of the theme for that particular day. And and what I was asked to speak about, but it's now impacted hundreds of thousands of people around the world. And it wasn't even in my top 100. Again, not sharing this to impress you, but to really look and impress upon you what could be that 1%. What I had put in my top 100 was to look for and sign up for a mastermind program, for a philanthropy / goal / mastermind program. I wanted to do more philanthropy, more goal focused, and work with a mastermind of women. Well, inside of that, in the application was, what's your goal in the next 1 year, 3 year, 5 years? And I hadn't thought as far out as 5 years. I usually go 1 to 3 years and I kind of adjust and expand and adjust. And I said, 5 years, yeah, I'd like to do a TED Talk. Like, I had to fill the page out, right? So I just wrote it down, like, 5 years down the line, yeah, that sounds good. And it literally, within a month of putting in that application, the invitation to do that talk came. Not from that group, not from anyone. I just simply had written it down and said it out loud to the universe. And the invitation came. I was like, when I saw that email, I literally fell off my chair because I was like, what?
No,
Right?
I was kidding.
I was kidding. No, I didn't do it. Exactly. That was the next thing. It turned out okay, I guess. But yeah, the initial response was that. So when I looked at my top 100 for that year, it was not even on the radar. So when you shift that and then choose an SKS, something very simple, and shift that 1 degree, and you're choosing one between now and the end of the year, look and see. Really look and see. Like, it's going to be beyond, not only you'll get what you're focused on, but beyond what you think is possible. Yes?
No, I was thinking, how would you call you accountability? What? Partner or party?
Partner. Oh, party. Yeah, accountability party. Why not? Let's do that. We'll all get back together and have a party. Accountability partner is the distinction I introduced, but I like yours. Accountability party. We actually, with another one of my accountability partners. So funny. Both my super awesome accountability partners. Both their name is Jessica. With the first Jessica, she was in England for a semester, and I was out here. She had transferred there for something for a semester. So we would use email because it was the days before WhatsApp and Skype and all that. And she and I would have a power and accountability day, usually once a quarter, where we would get together once a quarter, her and I, even though we would do our daily. And then we'd have, it's almost like she called the accountability party. We call it a power and accountability day, where all the stuff that was on our list that hadn't gotten done yet, like the annoying stuff, she would do hers, I would do mine. But we would get together, and I would bring all my stuff, she would bring all her stuff, either at her house or mine, and just power through it. Now, some days we would just not talk for hours and just do our thing, and then by the end of the day we said, this is what's going to get accomplished. About once a quarter. So you could call it an accountability party. I guess that was our version of it. It was great because we really don't want to do it. But by the end of it, it's like, okay, we did it. So to have an accountability buddy can help definitely in that way. Great question. Accountability party. I should bring that back.
Something you can start doing.
Yeah, and Jessica's now married. She has a kid. She lives back here. So,
Where do you live?
right by Universal, here, local. So let me see that I've covered everything. Yeah, I think I've given you everything. There's the structure, the tangible and the intangible. Sometimes there's goals that we're scared to declare that we're going to do, because what if it doesn't happen? But just declare it anyway, just between you and your journal, you and your paper, or maybe you and your daughter. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't, but you don't know until you really go for it. Now, structure is there to support us. So the SKS, the 8 Fs, very simple structure. They're there to support us, not to limit us. If you look at your life, I bet, just like pretty much in my life, all the stuff that happens, it's because it has structure underneath it. The stuff that doesn't, usually doesn't have structure underneath it, or it may have a wobbly one. Remember, structure there to support you, not to limit you. Kind of like a bamboo structure around a building so that the painters can go up each level and refresh the paint. It's not going to limit the building, but it's going to allow for the painters to do their job to enhance what's already there. So structure helps you enhance what's already there. Yes.
I'm working on having more consistency in the business.
Yes.
Any suggestions?
Yes, with one of you could answer that. That would be good.
Show up.
Well, show up is one thing, but how do you measure something that is not tangible? We covered that 2 words earlier on, so I'm going to let them, because that way by them sharing it, they actually own that process of learning. How do we do that?
Well, like I said, consistency, and I mean, it's showing up. I mean, that's a big part of it, because being in this business, you really don't have to show up. I mean, it's easy to just stay home and do other things,
Yeah.
because you don't have to be anywhere.
Yeah.
And so by just coming and showing up, that's the start of being consistent.
That's one place. That's one place to start. And could you give her the 2 power questions?
What would
Oh,
happen?
you wrote it down.
What would happen if you showed up every day?
Yeah, but I think there's 2 that we wrote
Wait.
down today. That's a good one too. There's 2 that we wrote down. You have it?
How can I be even more in my life right
How can I be even more accountable, or how can I be even more consistent in my life right now? So asking yourself that question daily. And what was the second?
now?
Is this moving me closer or further from my ideal life?
And every time you're about to take an action or not, the second question, so just asking yourself that daily question. Can you say it again? How can
Is
I
this
be-
moving me closer or further from my ideal life?
Okay, so is this moving me closer or further away from my ideal life? So when you've got something that's intangible, that you can't quite measure, because you can't measure the magic or the consistency, but what you can measure is your daily question. And by choosing a powerful daily question, that question will bring your plane back each time, even though you may feel that you've gotten off course, you keep bringing it back, you keep bringing it back. I think it was Tony Robbins, I've never studied with him, but I think it was Tony Robbins that said, the quality of your life comes down to the quality of the questions that you ask yourself. Or something along those lines. You can find the exact quote online. So by asking yourself, choosing a daily question that you could ask yourself for 100 days, if you want to be consistent, what's your daily question? And Melody and these guys can have you write it down if you want to. And then consistently with that. Would that help?
Yes.
Cool.
Thank
It's a good question. Good question. What I have for you here, any other questions? Cool. It was clear and you guys absorbed it all and you were like sponges. Fantastic. Is it helpful?
Yes,
Yes.
definitely, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Simple, applicable, easy. 100 days, now you've got the upper hand. You and your children, you and your coworkers. Doesn't stay just here. So, have you ever had the right tools in your hands and not used them? Yeah. It's not just me, right? Or have you ever had the right tools and gotten results that were hit and miss, not quite get the results that you wanted? Okay. So if you want to keep this conversation further, what I've prepared for you is the opportunity for you to work with me at no charge to you for an hour. And this can be applicable to the 100-day countdown. It can be applicable to anything else that you've thought about today, or something that you may think about between now and the time that we talk. And all that it's going to be an hour on the phone or on Skype. If you find that there is an area where you keep self-sabotaging and you don't know how to stop it, but you want to get those results, you want to have consistency, and you want to regain control once and for all, then the strategy session is definitely for you. It's not for the faint at heart. But you will be in action by the top of that hour, and we'll look at what that internal battle is and end it. So if it's something that it's for you, I'm going to pass it on to you here, and you're welcome to turn it in I'll give one to you as well. Thank you. Turn it in and choose something, or even pass it on to a friend of yours. If you've never had that self-sabotage or that internal battle, pass it on to a friend of yours. It's
Maybe
gonna
have my
be
daughter
helpful.
contact you.
Yeah,
Right?
if she's up for it, absolutely. And if you've got something for yourself that you feel is that, like you're a Ferrari, you know it. And you're out of the driveway. It's not like you're parked in the driveway.
Right.
Where you're going surface streets, you know, second gear, third gear, not on the freeway of life
Yeah,
with sixth
right
gear.
there.
Exactly. So, and it doesn't even need to be a Ferrari. You know, the other day I was driving around and I realized something was off with my car. My car is perfectly fine, but something was off until I looked down and like, the handbrake was on. You know, we've all done that. It's like,
No,
I do that.
he's never done that. I had only done that once, right? Yeah, so it's like, you know, but until we find what it is, we just know something's off in our life, but we can't quite pinpoint it. When we do, release it and then we move on. So, and sometimes it's not our car even, it's a rental. So it's like, where the heck is the handbrake? How do you release this thing? Is it in the foot? Is it in the center console? So it's really, the strategy session is designed for you wherever you're at in your life to optimize it to the next level. I want to thank you for truly how you've participated today. I think we've covered everything. If there is any questions or anything that you need, I'll be around. My information's there, and also you can always find me on PinaDeRosa.com. If you've got other organizations that you're like, oh my gosh, you should talk to my PTA, or whatever different organizations are out there, just contact me. I'll be happy to. Today, right after this, I'm going to, I think it's a BNI, so just the more people are empowered, the better off we all are. So thank you for how you participated.
Thank you.
Hi, mi nombre es Isela Pavón, soy una realtor aquí en Regency en Granada Hills, San Fernando Valley. Acabamos de terminar un seminario con Pina De Rosa, muy excelente información acerca de los últimos 100 días del año, muy inspiracional, muy motivacional y bueno, lista para ver a ver qué más puedo aprender con ella. Gracias.
Hello everyone, my name is Milton Pacheco. I'm a real estate agent here in Granada Hills, California. I just attended a seminar with Pina De Rosa, and I was completely amazed with everything that she has to offer. I thought I was a goal-oriented person, but with the seminar, she's helping me so much to structure my goals and the way that I can accomplish them and stay focused. I recommend this seminar to anybody. I'm looking forward to spend some time with her on one-on-one. So I am really happy and I recommend to anybody. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everybody. This is Mari Cruz. I'm a realtor here at Park Regency in Granada Hills. And I just wanted to share with you that I had attended a Pina De Rosa workshop, and it has helped me realize that I needed to work in several areas of my life. I also learned to structure my goal to reach them. I'm looking forward to meet with her on one-on-one so that I can reach my goals sooner. This is something that I definitely recommend for anybody of you who wants to work and improve their life and take their life to a next level. Thank you. I'll see you at the next time.